From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, June the 6th, 2025. 4 Israeli soldiers were killed this morning in Gaza, and 5 more were injured when a booby-trapped building exploded and collapsed. 2 of the slain soldiers were named as 33-year-old Sergeant Major in Reserve Chen Gross and 19-year-old Staff Sergeant Yoav Rever. The Times of Israel reports that according to an initial IDF investigation, the soldiers went into the structure to check for terror tunnels and other terror infrastructure when it exploded. A ballistic missile was launched last night at Israel by the Houthis in Yemen, sending residents of Jerusalem and the surrounding areas, as well as of Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, running for shelter. The IDF said the missile was intercepted and no damage or injury was reported. The IDF hit underground weapons manufacturing facilities of terror group Hezbollah in southern Lebanon overnight last night. The IDF saying it precisely struck Hezbollah UAV production and storage sites. Noting Hezbollah's aerial unit, backed by Iran, has launched over 1,000 UAVs or drones towards Israel during the war. They said prior to the strike, steps were taken to mitigate the risk of harming civilians, and said the activity at these sites constitutes a blatant violation of the understandings between Israel and Lebanon. Turning now to here in the United States, where the American Zionist movement announced the preliminary results of the U.S. 2025 World Zionist Congress election this year, which received, it said, an all-time record 230,257 votes in the election, which took place from March the 10th through May the 4th. Of this year, an over 86% increase from the last election held in 2020. The preliminary tally has the top 5 vote-receiving slates, as vote reform in the number 1 spot, followed by Am Yisrael Chai, Eretz HaKodesh, Merkaz USA, and then the Orthodox Israel Coalition. AZM Executive Director Herbert Bloch said American Jews have spoken. Through their record-breaking turnout, they have powerfully demonstrated that Zionism in the United States is not only alive and well, but stronger than ever. Bloch said thanks to this historic participation in the election, U.S. Jewry is poised to make an indelible mark when the World Zionist Congress gathers in October. Well, in a strong and united statement in the fight against anti-Semitism in the U.S., anti-Semitism envoys for the Trump administration and the Biden administration spoke in one voice in what they called a cri de coeur, a passionate appeal, published last week by the JTA, that the fight against Jew hatred must not be politicized. Former ambassadors Ilan Carr and Deborah Lipstadt and President Trump's pick to serve next in the position, Rabbi Yehuda Kaplun, wrote, irrespective of where you stand on the political spectrum, left, right, center, do not use anti-Semitism as a political weapon to achieve other goals that will only serve to debase and weaken our fight against this terrible scourge. This fight must be bipartisan and non-political. Now is the time for all to rise to the occasion in the face of a grave threat to us all. Our collective future depends on our success. Well, a gathering was held this week in Boulder, Colorado, for the victims of the firebombing attack there that took place this past Sunday, targeting the local Run for Their Lives group, who walk for the hostages. Some 15 people were hurt in the attack, several who suffered serious burns, including an 88-year-old woman who is in critical condition. Jared Polis joined community leaders and faith leaders, as well as members of the Run for Their Lives local group, who were there during the attack, calling to take a stand against anti-Semitism.
Today, we return here to the site where this occurred to show, and by deeds and words, that terrorism does not win. We are united as Coloradans, of all faiths, of all backgrounds, to make it clear that anti-Semitism, that violence and hate have no home in Colorado, not today and not ever.
The Run for Their Lives group holds walks every Sunday in cities across the United States and across the world for the hostages. The 56 hostages who remain held by terror group Hamas in Gaza have now been captive for 609 days. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, June the 6th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue. At 8:30, Justin Pine speaks with Congressman Josh Gottheimer about what it means to be a Jewish member of Congress at a time of rising antisemitism. At 9:30, Abigail Pogrebin speaks with Jewish scholar and author Devora Steinmetz about her book, Why Rain Comes From Above. At 10, Rabbi Ammiel Hirsch speaks on the tragic murders of Yaron Lischinsky and Sarah Milgrim. At 10:30, a replay from the Hampton Synagogue, followed by a replay from Central. And coming up next, a look at this week's Torah Portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, June the 6th, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom. Am Yisrael Chai.